Hey, welcome back to Jigs on Twitch. Back with round 2 with Green, White, Red Maverick. Not too sure what we're up against. We're on the draw. This hand is okay. A turn 1 Mum into turn 2 Thalia, and then we have Screws for some sort of interaction, so pretty happy to keep this. Up against the Yorion deck. Gonna be pretty interesting. Definitely going to be grindy. Opponent also on 6 cards. Noble, interesting. So now the question is, do I want to lead with Noble Hierarch or lead with Mother? And I think in this case, with my opponent playing an 80 card deck, I'd rather play the Mum, because they do have to find removal pretty quickly for it. I'm just going to get a Savannah and play the Mum. The benefit of playing the Noble Hierarch is that next turn we can play Thalia and Mum, but I think this is fine. This deck is going to be a grind, so any advantage I can get is going to be great. Black mana, interesting. Strix is going to be okay. Mirran. Mirran's pretty nice. I am just going to lead with the Thalia here. And then just pass. So it looks like a bug Yorion deck. Kind of hope they don't play Plague Engineer. That would be pretty rough. Especially with the start that we have. Just a pass. Interesting. Green Suns. Just going to go for a Forest here and play Mirran Crusader. Back to Basics isn't a card that I see too much in Yorion, but with this kind of start, it isn't something that I wouldn't be surprised to see. Ice Fang's fine. This is probably a matchup where I do like Fiery Confluence. Sorry, Fiery Justice. Because I can deal with so many of the creatures early on. Astrolabe's okay. So they do have Yorion online next turn, which can draw them 3 cards at least, which is pretty crazy. Windswept Heath. I think I just want to play Karakas to keep Thalia open. Play Noble Hierarch and then swing in with just the Mirran Crusader for 6. I could also Green Suns for an additional... Actually, I can't with Thalia out. Let's have a quick look at the deck list. Klothys is interesting, but I can't currently Green Suns for it because of Thalia. I think we're just going to go Karakas into Noble and swing with Mirran. I don't want to overcommit to the board, so I'm pretty happy just to pass here. I don't want to get taken up by something like a Maindeck Dead of Winter. That would be pretty rough. So I want to keep the Screws in hand for now. Recruiter. That's interesting. Maybe this is Aluren. Palace Jailer. Okay. Another Scooze. Definitely playing Windswept Heath. I could give protection with Mum to Mirran, but I don't want to lose the Mum, so maybe I want to green sun something like Scryb Ranger first up, which gives me double activations of Mother of Runes. So I can give pro white to the Mirran. I don't mind that. I'm going to untap Mum now as well, just to play around any sort of removal because of the 1 mana up. They can't do anything with Thalia out, so I think this is a pretty good board state. Scryb Ranger also stops the Baleful Strix and Ice Fang from hitting. I believe Palace Jailer takes 2 white as well, so they need another white source on top of the Astrolabe to actually cast the Palace Jailer. But if they tap out for Jailer here, they're probably not in a great spot because the Mum just gives protection anyway, and then it gives protection on the following turn. So they really need a Deadwinter here. And they don't have it, so we do get game 1, which is nice. For that sort of setup, I definitely like the Fiery Justices, looking at that. Pyroblast seems great as well. I might just bring in the 2. Mirran actually did pretty well there. I think Collector Ouphe is where I can probably skimp on some sort of hate, and I can drop out 2 Thalias on the draw. I also don't mind taking out a Wasteland because of their mana base being so pretty heavily on basics. I feel like this is all I want. Elspeth is pretty interesting, but a lot of their blockers are flyers anyway, so giving a Knight flying doesn't really help against Baleful Strixes and Ice Fang Quaddles. I think this is okay. We'll see how this goes. Shifting Ceratops is actually pretty interesting as well, because it can't be countered, and also the Pro Blue, which can be relevant, so maybe I want to go a little bit bigger with my threats. I still don't mind Clots because both graveyards do get big pretty quickly. I could see myself actually dropping out a Noble Hierarch because of how they probably bring in some amount of board wipes. I don't want to really rely on those for my mana, so I don't mind this. We'll see how this goes, and if there is a game 3, we can come back and identify some of the loose ends of the deck list that we have in front of us. The classic no-lander. The classic, oh, this hand's great, and then you see that you can actually cast your spells, which is a little bit rough, so we'll mulligan this. This hand's fantastic, and we actually have the perfect card to put back, which is Dryad Arbor, so I'm going to keep this, put back Dryad Arbor. Ponder's okay. See what the Ponder does. Choose not to shuffle. Okay. So pretty happy just to go Taiga into Noble here and keep the Wooded Foothills around for the Sylvan Library. I probably don't want more than 1 Swords of Plowshares in my hand at any time, so if I do find swords on top, I don't really want to be paying the 4 life for them. I'd rather keep that 4 life as a resource for other cards that I really want, so the fetch land's nice because it allows us to put back the swords, not pay for them, and then just fetch to find some new cards on top the following turn. Another Thalia, okay. I don't believe my opponent is a Dazed deck, so there's no real reason to play the Karakas first. I don't mind getting out Thalia here, but it does get impacted pretty hard by something like Plague Engineer, which could definitely be in this deck. But a thing that I might do is cast Thalia, and my opponent might let it resolve because they have something like Fatal Push in hand. But then if we play the Karakas, that's obviously a pretty bad play. If we play the Karakas first and then cast Thalia, they might see that, hey, we can't actually deal with this on board, we have to counter it on the stack. So I think here I'm just going to go with... I'm going to tap like this. And then because Iceman Quaddle doesn't have Death Touch yet, I'm going to attack with my Noble Hierarch. Or am I? Maybe I'm not. If I am going to try to play around Plague Engineer anyway, I probably want to float the 1 white and then let the Noble die to swords it. Yeah, that's fine. I do like that Sylvan Library can't be hit by Oko, which is really nice. I think it's just a really good card right now, but... We'll see if my opponent goes for a Jewel here, because they do need a Jewel to find a black source. Probably an Underground Sea. Just another forest, okay. Rexage. Rexage is pretty good. If they force this, I'm pretty happy just to jam the second one. Okay. Gonna return this into response. This also means we can actually swords this in the same turn, which is kind of nice. So being a little bit patient on this Swords to Plowshares is pretty good. Fiery Justice would be pretty sweet. We drew the Dryad Arbor, which is pretty rough. I didn't mean to 6 there. That's pretty rough. I guess we didn't have too much to do other than play a land, but hopefully it doesn't come back to bite us. So they put Yorion on the hand. Mirran. Not the worst. Gonna play the Foothills and then play the Mirran Crusader. Just gonna 6 this turn. There's not too much we can do. Not great. can probably take 1 hit from the Yorion. Go down to 4. But then it gets pretty close to just losing to combat damage, so I think I actually have to return it here. Even though they get to draw a card off the Ice Fang, they get to a stage where they can just go wide and swing with everything and just win that way, so... Unfortunately, I'm going to let them to draw another card with this Yorion if they want to cast it, but... Yeah. Just 3 lands. Can't do too much there. I'd rather keep the time for the third game. I probably don't mind the extra Pyroblast. I like siding in all 3 because this deck doesn't have too much card manipulation other than Sylvan Library, so it's not like we can ponder or brainstorm into them, so I don't mind having the extra one in the deck. There are a lot of hits as well, and hitting a Yorion is pretty good, so... I think as well, just because there's not one card that I'm after from Green Suns, I'm going to drop a Green Suns. And then this seems fine. Love to go first. This hand's very slow. The Mum isn't the greatest against a Plague Engineer deck because unless we have actual pressure early on, it's not doing a whole lot. Especially when most of our opponents' creatures early on in Ice Fangs and Baleful Strixes are in the air. I'm going to mull this to try to find a hand with a lot more gas. And this just isn't it. I don't want to keep a hand with just 2 3-drops. Pretty happy to mull again. Okay, we'll keep this. Put back Questing Beast. And I'm going to put back a land. Maybe a turn 2 Klothys can just get there. I'm going to keep the 2 fetches because, of course, they add up with things like another Reliquary. Astrolabe's fine. Taiga. Alright. Will it sit? It does. That's kind of cool. Can't be hit by Rexage as well, which is really nice. Strix is okay. I wonder if we're just going for Questing Beast. Swords. Gonna make a green mana. I think Questing Beast is fine. So turned out pretty well for us, especially off a Molder 5. Turn 2 Klothys is just really nice because it keeps applying pressure quite aggressively. And then Questing Beast is hard to beat unless you have something like Swords to Plowshares. Cradle. Let's hit the Ponder. Alright. I don't believe there's any reason to play the Cradle here, especially when we're just drawing 1 card a turn. So I'm just going to keep it in hand for now. Brainstorm's okay. Just more fodder for Klothys, which is really nice. fed straight away. Could be Jace? Aluren. Interesting. Is there a world where I'm supposed to Swords the Baleful Strix in response to Aluren? I'm going to quickly look up Aluren, because I believe there's a card that when it comes into play you return a... I believe it's Cavern Harpy. And maybe I'm supposed to hit this. I don't think I have a chance otherwise to deal with the combo. They probably can just do something in response to the swords anyway, so... Wow, I think it's just going to be a pass here. Okay. Unless they want to do something in our turn. Recruiter. Okay. Another recruiter. Okay. Yeah, so it looks like Yorion Aluren actually did pretty well. Getting a 10th place finish for the Lotus Box 1.5k. So yeah, unfortunately with this, I believe that's it. Because now they can get Cavern Harpy, which they can use to return. Yeah, alright. Good games. We'll see you in the next one. Cheers.